This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
It is a cliche that when you leave your home country and when you go abroad to countries such as the US, the UK, you have to do everything by yourself. Do it yourself becomes like an everyday thing. You have to do things in your home, you have to start your own business, you have to promote your own business, you have to do just about everything to get yourself going. So far in the events that I have attended so far, there were Indian diaspora people, businessmen who met themselves. But this is rather unique because MSD UK, which is meant for minorities and different ethnicities, is trying to get buyers to meet sellers, is trying to get smaller companies to meet bigger companies, and you yourself create a platform for you to flourish. And that's the beauty of humanity, right? Which is why we're all here. And I'm going to be talking to all of you about just how the market looks like in London, especially in interesting times such as post the Brexit decision. But let me go to the lady first. Tell me about what you do, what your business is, and just how are ways to promote your own business for people who may be watching this, who may be wondering, how do I get my network to grow? What would you say?
Well, my name is Denise Nurse. I'm the CEO of Halebury and co-founder. My co-founder is Janvi Patel. It's a law firm. So we provide an alternative to the traditional law firms. We work with some of the biggest companies in the UK now, and some of that is down to being a member of MSD UK. So our clients include BT, Enterprise Rent-A-Car and Barclays. So that's the finance sector, the telecom sector, and one of the largest rental car companies in the world.
Yes.
So we've had access to phenomenal clients from being part of MSD UK, but we've always worked on building our own relationships. We've really put a high price on that, and that's not just with a corporate, that's with the individuals, understanding what they do. And one of our mantras when we started was that we wanted to punch above our weight and be seen as equal to the top law firms in the country. So that was the attitude that we went out there with from the start. It's worked. and you get that confidence. You can tell yourself that, but then you have to build that confidence, and working with the team at MSD UK has helped that.
Why are you different from the traditional law firms? Do you charge less?
Yes, we do charge less. We are different because we stripped out a lot of the costs, where what some might call a virtual firm. Our lawyers don't work in a central office, they work from client offices. Secondly, we provide external in-house lawyers. So the in-house legal teams is a growing sector in the UK.
Tell us about your company. You're into green cars, is that correct?
Yeah, well, I have a company called Ecomotive, and we're in the automotive sector. What we do is we manufacture products for cars or any vehicles with a combustion engine that basically have a green background, promote cars being more environmentally friendly. Our products do things like increase fuel efficiency, cut carbon emissions, stop punctures on tyres. So we have a vast array of products that make life easier for the motorist, but also promotes being green and more nicer to the environment, especially in this day and age where...
Right. Does it worry you post-Brexit? What was your market when you began, and does it worry you?
The thing is, we're quite lucky to be in the automotive sector, because at the end of the day, everyone's always going to drive cars, no matter if we're in Europe or not. So as long as people are driving cars and they're using fuel from supermarkets and the like, I'll always have a market to sell my products in.
Sure. And as long as they drive safer cars, greener cars, we'll all live longer. This is such an interesting event because you're not just getting businessmen to meet each other, but you're getting a vendor to meet a buyer. So tell us about the last 10 years. How did you begin? And it's nice of you to want to include people from other ethnicities and communities, because here we're so dependable on each other.
I think I came from Delhi in 2000, born and brought up in Delhi, and came as a student, did my MBA, and then started my PhD on this whole area around diversity in supply chain. And that led to formation of MST UK, where we bring corporate companies who have a very strong diversity program to connect with ethnic minority businesses. And for 10 years, we have connected more than 1,200 businesses. More than 100 million worth of business has been transacted. And what I've tried to create is a community of people that are willing to help each other. And that's what you will find in this event and in this network. It's not just any business network, it's a community. And I think we need to replicate this all around the world. Inclusion and economic empowerment of some of the most disadvantaged communities would reduce all our social tensions.
At a time when people fear uncertainty, at a time when they say there's going to be economic shock, much of it that we're facing here in the capital of the United Kingdom, and of course the country at large, it is upon the business community to not wait for certainty to come in, but to try and connect with people, to get back into being inclusive, get back to becoming more global, and push the economy up. What a lovely message indeed. Thank you very much for the evening and for these lovely messages. Good luck.
Thank you.
And hope you do drive your way to the bank.
I will do.
Hello there, welcome to Out of England. Today we're going to have a conversation with some of the most accomplished people here of Indian origin who are doing so very well in London. When you began 20 years ago, what was the market like? Because today everybody says London is just so bullish, it is the place for a startup. Was that the case 20 years ago?
I think 20 years ago, what's different is in my time we didn't have people to turn to for advice. Whilst access to capital was easier, in other words, it was easier to get money from a bank. So just to give an example, my first request for a loan, this would never happen today, was I went to the bank manager and I said, I am forming a Bhangra band, a music band. Can I borrow £20,000? Now, if you walk into a bank manager today and said, actually, I need some money for a guitar, a drum kit, it'd lock you up and throw you in asylum. So I think access to finances, in some respects, for some certain sectors is difficult. But then I think now the marketplace, global marketplace is such that, particularly if you're a technical firm, I think access to finance in many respects is much easier as well.
There's more access to money.
Absolutely, because there's global finance. And I came across a really good term, and what they said was a good business will always find finance. Money will come to that business. So in that respect, and from a global economic perspective, you're from India, fastest growing economy in the world. UK is the fastest growing economy in the Western world. So I think the combination of both, particularly if Mr. Modi gets his international trade right, I think it's looking fantastic.
Looking great, absolutely. 20 years ago, there wasn't that much access to money or maybe even information. Today, it's a lot better. What would you have liked to have in what you have today? What would you have liked to have then when you began?
Globalization. I would say over the 20 years, people have become more global thinking. It's the access to technology, like you said, through internet, social media, all those areas. 20 years ago, people used to say India's an emerging market, especially for clinical research. I say India has emerged. We're way ahead in many things as well. But being able to, any small company, large company, can these days compete in a global playing field. And that's very exciting.
Absolutely, very inclusive, I would say, today's atmosphere. And with just the internet becoming so very inclusive in our lives, I think we managed to intrude just about everywhere. You began not that long ago, but you're long enough in the business to tell us your struggle and your success stories.
Absolutely.
Tell us about your journey.
Well,
and please tell the viewers as well.
Sure. When you're running a business, especially when you're a sole trader, it can be really lonely. And so therefore, as a lonely self-employed person, who can you go and speak to? Who can you share your problems with? And you see, people think that they can solve their problems by themselves. But if you've got a network, and if you've got people that you can pick up the phone and speak to, or if you have coaches, and we're executive coaches, where the entrepreneur can actually speak to somebody who's completely independent, not judgmental, and actually show up a mirror in front of their face and say, actually, this is how you're coming across, and this is how you're thinking, this is how you're perceiving the world. What if the world was completely different? And what solutions can you actually put into place that will solve your problems so you don't have these problems? And on top of that, what we do is we allow them to feed forward. So if they've benefited, how can they then benefit the next generation? And I think it's what everybody else said, it's globalization. We can do business anywhere in the world now.
What would be your advice? For example, he said talk to people who may be just outside family. What do you think? Oh, if you had to pass on to him.
I think I can speak from a naive perspective. I believed, luckily I was proven right, I believed Bhangra music could go global. Now, most people, I think quite rightly, thought I was crackers. And they said, you got no chance because we have a foreign vocal with foreign instrumentation and you're going to sell that all around the world. So I think, okay, I had this belief that it could happen, but I think for those who have come up with new products, test it. What you believe the market wants may not be the case. And I think talk to people who are experienced, people either in or outside that sector, who will give you an honest opinion. Because what you don't want to do is then go looking for finance, not having tested your business model. So I think that's the first thing. But equally, I think what's also relevant is you need to have belief in the product.
How do you test your idea? Apart from the fact that I believe in it, I'm absolutely compassionate, I know it's going to work.
Okay, well, a couple of things. Ask an expert in that sector first. Turn to them. I think that was something maybe 20 years ago wasn't around, but now I think there are a lot of practitioners who can help you. That's one thing. Secondly, test it with the market who you're looking to sell to. So whoever the prospective customer base for marketplace, test it with them. Once you've confirmed they're happy with it, and once you've confirmed with an independent person they're happy with it, then you can start taking it to the next stage.
Yes, then you're perhaps ready. I'm not going to talk about testing on people/animals now at the moment. That's a different debate altogether. But what are your words of advice?
The thing I would say most is be confident, be brave, and don't be afraid to network. Seek advice from all different people. Go to events where you can get the advice. A lot of advice is free. And take the advice, and the most important thing is if you ever believe in your product, go forward, go forward in a really bold way.
For all of those people sitting there on their couch waiting for that day to come when they can go for it, you perhaps have heard enough more than me. Thank you very much indeed. Join us at Out of England every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays, 8:30 p.m. only on NDTV.